Hey guys, so I made a list of fun and funny memories, and I want to show you guys. I like adding stuff like this into journals because it kind of combines the past with current life, and it's just a good way to savor old memories and stuff. So anyway, let's get started. Some of these are kind of awkward, but we'll start with the less awkward one. So the first one is you're trailing netting. All right, this one's just so I was driving around DuPont Circle, and my car had kind of like a it's gonna sound ghetto, a trailer hitch in the back, and I hear a knock on my door. I'm in the middle of DuPont Circle in like ridiculous amounts of traffic, going like 2 miles an hour. Someone knocks on my door, so that scares the crap out of me. Roll down like my ghetto tinted windows, and the guy, it's this hot British guy in like a Armani suit. He's like, "Pardon me, ma'am, but you're trailing netting." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Pardon me, ma'am, but you are trailing netting." So there's this like 20-foot orange plastic construction netting like hanging off my car. So this guy in like the fancy business suit, British accent, everything, so politely takes this massive 20-foot plastic construction netting and drags it all the way across all the way across DuPont Circle into the trash can for me. So yeah, you're trailing netting. I've never heard anyone say trailing netting other than that, and never since. So yeah, I was trailing netting. So every time I see netting, it reminds me of that. All right, next up is I can see. So after graduation, we were staying in a hotel, and I okay, I have contacts. So the next morning I wake up and I can see perfectly. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it's a graduation miracle." I literally squeal, "I can see." I was so excited. I thought I just like magically just could see again. My vision was restored. It was perfect. Yeah, I realized my contacts were, in from the previous day, and that's why I could see. Tragic. I was really so disappointed about that. All right, next awkward thing. Speaking of odd things that I apparently run into with my car, I ran into I ran into a hot Italian man in a Mercedes. So it was okay. We were in like 2 hours worth of traffic. It was just at a standstill going into the city. I, your foot's on the brake. After 2 hours of just literally like not moving at all, your foot kind of falls asleep. So I kind of tapped on his Mercedes a little bit with my car. I get out, I'm like, oh crap, this guy's be so furious. It's like a brand new Mercedes. Hot Italian guy gets out, and he's like, and he looks at his car, and he's like, "No harm, no foul," and touches like, and, like taps me on the shoulder. He's like, "Oh, he's just saying like, we're cool." I'm thinking, if I hit you again, can I get your phone number? Like, you're so hot. But yeah. Yeah, end of story. Oh, and another, like, car story. So, I guess right when I started to drive, like, early high school, that ordeal happens, I get lost in the middle of nowhere. Call home. They're like, my dad's like, follow the sun, because the sun sets in the direction of where I needed to, like, our house was and compared to where I was. And I was in the middle of like straight up nowhere. I'd gone like half an hour. I was trying to go to some event at a college that I'd never been to before, and it was just like way out there in the middle of nowhere. Car's running out of gas, my phone battery's out, like, yeah. I would have rather had the Mercedes man, hot Italian man, and gotten a date. Anyway, next up is another car story. Haunted Halloween. So it was Halloween. I was staying in an empty house with people who were convinced that the house was haunted. I was spooked out. It was Halloween. I was kind of in the middle of nowhere. I was driving along, and apparently I didn't know. This was a long time ago. I'm much more skilled now. But like I was super young and driving down the highway, kind of in the ghetto. Like it was Halloween. I was already kind of scared because I was in the ghetto, and I see my car say like 110. Okay, it's in like I think it's an American car. But yeah, it's an American car. America. And yeah, it says 110 on the odometer. No, the crap. I don't do cars. I'm a city person. I didn't have to drive for much of my life. All right. Anyway, so it says like I'm going 110. I'm like, "Oh my gosh." So I panic, and I see like these sedans with like tinted windows around me, which is probably just old people, but I was in the ghetto, so I was convinced that there was a potential for a high-speed chase because I was in the ghetto and I was already panicking, and it was Halloween, it was dark, in the ghetto. Did I mention it was in a really scary ghetto? So yeah, it was not that. My car had somehow converted to kilometers, and I was really going like 50. I was slamming on brakes, like panicking, and I was like, well, if I pull over and go to a gas station, my car's probably not gonna start again. So it's like, oh my gosh. And like people were passing me, and like they were kind of sketchy sedans, which is really just old people, but I thought there was a potential in the ghetto for much more than that to be occurring. Yeah. I have so many car tales. I've never liked driving, and most of my life I didn't have to. Like, if you're in the city, you can just walk around, and if I drive, it's like far away, so I'm in the sticks or in the ghetto, or like just panicky in the first place. So, and if it's late, and it was late, and I think I just flown in or something because I was staying in an empty house, so I was super tired, and this is really, yeah. All right, next up, let's talk about puking, shall we? So, I do Times Square New Year's. I've done that for years of my life. Like a tourist, I don't know why, but it's just fun to freeze your ass off for 12 hours in the ridiculous cold, standing there waiting for like 30 seconds of the ball to drop. But you're cheering in the new year with like over 1 million people, and it's just fun. I've always loved it. Even when haven't been in Times Square, as a kid, I would reenact Times Square in the living room in front of family friends when we would have New Year's parties. And, yeah, one year as a kid, I recreated the Times Square ball with a toilet plunger to use as the thing to hang my hanger up that I had shaped like the Times Square ball, put Christmas lights and aluminum foil on to make it look like I don't even know, Swarovski, the crystal ball in Times Square. Hung it down from a plunger hanging off the entertainment center in the living room as a kid. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, and then one of the New Year's in Times Square, it was like 20 degrees or something. We'd been standing all day. It was abnormally crowded. Like, you couldn't sit down for over 12 hours. So eventually I got sick, totally puked, like, right on New Year's in the middle of Times Square. Nobody noticed. And at weddings, too, do not invite me to a wedding, because I've puked at so many weddings. I puked at a cousin's wedding. It's like a lot of it's because, like, we don't sleep, and that creates migraines. But I puked at a cousin's wedding. I was a flower girl in a brother's wedding. Puked at that. So, yeah. Puking in weddings do tend to make me, what's it called? Sarcastically puke. I don't like weddings. Just, like, I don't want to spend an hour sitting there when it just takes, weddings just are not my thing. All right. This is like the most awkward video in the world, but so most of mine are. All right, next up, what awkwardness shall we talk about now? Oh, so I decided as a kid, I was trying to be a nice, polite little kid, sending homebound people in the community, like peppy letters to encourage them and stuff. But I didn't apparently understand what homebound meant as a kid. I thought they mostly just had to stay at home, but they could kind of walk around the house, go around the neighborhood, take a walk. I wrote a lady, and I sent her a card, decorated all cute, and I wrote, take a walk, call a friend, do something, because I thought she could walk around her neighborhood even though she was homebound. So we go to visit her, and like, I ended up knowing this lady for a number of years, and she never let me forget that. She thought it was cute because I was a kid. But yeah, she was like, take a walk, call a friend, do something. She reminded me of that every time I talked to her. And I sent her cards after that too, like for a number of years after that. She's a really sweet, cute little old lady. She's like 4'9". She was so short and adorable. So yeah, take a walk, call a friend, do something. I was a well-intentioned young child. Like, a little kid just doesn't know what homebound means. And apparently the adults who were supervising our writing cards to homebound did not think to tell us what, like, homebound meant so we could know what to write to these people. Alright, next up. Let's see. Your milk and cookies await you. So, if you're staying in a hotel, it's in the middle of the night, you're in the city, well, okay, you're in DC, do not go down in the middle at midnight. If someone calls your room and says, room service, I have your milk and cookies await you. So, yeah, I take in, like, a midnight train, or midnight bus, something sketch, obviously, because I do a lot of sketchy things, apparently, midnight train down from New York to surprise my dad, who did not know I was coming. I find out his room number, which is why would a hotel tell a random person his room number, but I guess they believed that I was his child. I call his room in the most, like, room servicey, like foreigny, like robotic, just abnormal voice I could muster. I was like, "Your milk and cookies await you." He's like, "What?" And it's like what, like midnight, 1 a.m. By then, he had no idea I was in that city, because I was supposed to be in another city. And he's like, "What?" And I'm like, sir, your milk and cookies await you." He's like, "What?" So he finally, like, he comes down there and realizes it's me. But yeah, if room service calls you and tells you that it's midnight, you're in any city at all, don't go down and like, nothing good awaits you at midnight in a foyer of a hotel lobby, especially not a very nice hotel. All right. So anyway, next up is what have I not told you that's yet? Oh my gosh, this is a long video. I used to take the ghetto water taxi around Inner Harbor for hours. It was just like the $5 like tourist thing, and I would get on there like and just pretend I was out sailing for like on a cruise ship. What else? Okay, so I don't like heights. Heights are not my thing. And I tend to get stuck in things of heights, like elevators and mountains. So I get stuck on the top of Mount Fuji in the middle of a hailstorm. Yeah, my Japanese is incredibly lacking. I was like, crap. Like, I'm gonna fall off the mountain in a hailstorm. It's just dreadful. So yeah, freak hailstorm in the middle of the summer. Like, that's not supposed to happen, even on the top of the mountain. So yeah, I get stuck on places. I get stuck in an elevator in DuPont Circle. I got stuck. The elevator stalled in Tokyo on the 17th floor. Then the elevator like kind of jumps. It was like under maintenance, going up to Rockefeller Center. Like, that was a ridiculously tall elevator. Every elevator I go to that's tall, like, just stalls on me, if not gets stuck completely. Like, I got stuck in an elevator going to a job I had once. And I was stuck in there like 2 hours. I called office. I'm like, "I'm in the building." Like, I'm at work. I'm just like stuck in the elevator. And like, they call back like an hour or two later. They're like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "I'm still in the elevator. I'm in the building. Like, I'm at work. I'm just kind of in an elevator." So do not go in an elevator with me. Do not invite me to your wedding. Both of those two things like are not a good combination for me. Next up is Parenting 101. So if you're the parent of a young teenage girl, did not bring a hot man home with you from the cruise. So in high school, my family had won a free cruise. We went to the Bahamas, and our waiter there wanted to live in the States and wanted to learn about something that was popular in that my city would have been a good place to learn that trade. So naturally, my dad's like, "Well, why don't you just come home, stay with us for a few months?" Who does that? Who invites someone home, like their waiter from the cruise, home with them, or any waiter or anyone that they just met? So yeah, we had this random like hot man come live with us for a few months, which my 15, 14, however old I was, 15-year-old self wasn't complaining about. But yeah, things I would not do and bring home for my children. Like, that's a souvenir, but a postcard would have been quite sufficient, Dad. Thank you very much. And then my other favorite things are just quotes that people have said over the years, like, "Surprise, it's nothing," my friend. Just kind of like plays with her dog, and she'll, like pretend to throw a toy and then there not be a toy, like that kind of thing. And she'll say, like, in the first time she said, like, "Surprise, it's nothing." And like the way she said it was just like cracked us up so much that we've been saying "surprise, it's nothing" ever since. Same with that List movie that they are convinced that they did not see. But I was like, both of you like fell asleep during so many of our movie marathons. We totally saw a movie about a list, change your life. We can't find the name of the movie. But yeah, other quotes we say are just like, "Surprise, it's nothing." There's ponies on 12th Street, but they're private ponies. Just like random stuff that, hanging out together, we just started saying, and it kind of caught on. So yeah, those are some of my fun and funny memories that just kind of came to mind tonight. Let me know what yours are, and if you've had any awkward experiences like I have. And if you know the name of that movie about the list, the girl makes a list, changes her life, let me know if you know the name of that movie. We've been searching for it for several years now, and I'm convinced that we watched that movie. So yeah, let me know what your favorite fun or funny memories, like sayings, stuff that people say, and all that kind of thing is. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. Have a good night.